right, guys, coming to you today from the gym. I've got Hunter, I've got Charlie. You guys know me, I'm Nick. So today on the docket, we're going to do some log pressing. We chose to do log pressing from pins. So you guys are going to see we got the log set up in the yoke, right? So we're going to kind of strict press it out of there. That's kind of the plan. Charlie's doing some.
I'm doing bench over there.
He's doing some pin press from the bench. We'll record some of your sets too and throw them in there.
I got 2 more sets.
Yeah, good. We'll record one, throw it in there. But yeah, we'll show you guys what we're doing today, and then I'll do the voiceover later.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so hopefully the intro volume is okay because I don't have one of those fancy Chim microphones. But like we talked about, we decided to do log strict press from the pins today, which I think would probably be my favorite variation that we've done of pressing so far. It feels so comfortable. My only disappointment of the day was I wasn't as strong as I wanted to be. Really in my head, because I've done a 300-pound overhead press in a contest after a nice deload, and it was so easy. I just want to be able to press 300 pounds like whenever I want. And the truth is, like, I'm just quite not there yet. I definitely think I will be, and I'm in that range. But yeah, so we worked our way up. The log is 105, and we started off just adding 25s and working our way up. We've kind of developed a training goal in mind where what we would do is we would work up to a top set of like 3 on most days, although I think Hunter did 5 on this day. And then the goal is to then do 1 back down set at much lighter weight at higher volume, 10 to 12 reps. And that just kind of on our main movement, because what we find is if we go super heavy into like 5 to 10 reps, which we both enjoy doing, the training fatigue is so bad. It's so hard to recover from, especially for me. I have an autoimmune disorder. So if I do stuff like that, like I did the 600 for 8 deadlift, my body saw that as just straight up trauma. And I'm just wrecked. And so then I lose a couple days in the gym. And it can definitely be worth it. But, you want to string together a lot of good training days. You got to manage that. So that was the goal for the day. I will say I did try to work up way too heavy. So right there, I think that was about 200. Yeah, with 225s on there. This is 200, and it moves like butter. No problem. So I'm like, cool, we're going to run it up. Hunter kept it a little less than 200. Strict pressing is not his strength per se. He is definitely somebody that uses his legs really well. He could even split jerk if he needed to. So this variation definitely not going to favor him at all, but it's good. It's what he needs. So, and we threw in Charlie's set just to show you guys. Right now I've got about 15 people that are going to compete coming up on January 31st. Charlie's actually not one of them, but most of them I'm having do this variation of pin presses. And pin presses is basically a bench press, and if you have the safeties, it's easiest, but you can also use a rack. The idea is you bring the bar down, dead stop on the pins. You can even go so far as making the athlete take their hands off of the bar. But if you're coming from a dead stop, not just a pause on your chest, you lose a lot of that saved energy, and you have to use an insane amount of neural drive to restart that bar. So I had Charlie doing that. He probably had 4 sets of 4 today. So here we go. I went up to, this is probably 255. I only did it for a single because it felt good, and I thought I was going to do 305. So here's 305. I get it in there, and, I can give you all the excuses. I'm fatigued. We just did a bunch of front squats. Really, bottom line is I'm just not strong enough for that weight yet. I could definitely break it, but it really feels like my upper back just doesn't have it. I dropped down to like 275, but there was too much fatigue. So here's Hunter. He dropped it down to about, this is probably like 155, and this is going to be his volume set. You can definitely see he can move that a lot faster, and that's the goal. For our training method, once you're into the 10s and 12s, it should be something that moves fairly fast, and then you can use speed development, or as Fred Hatfield used to call it, cat training. It's basically the idea of just moving sub-maximal weights as fast as possible, and that's what's important. I almost went lighter because I was so frustrated at 300 pounds not moving, but I went right back to 205, and I got this pretty easily for 10 reps. Video might be 9 reps, but I swear the camera takes off 1 rep. Either that or I can't count. Well, you let you guys decide. But yeah, this moves super well. I have had some issues with my knee being super flared up just post heavy deadlifts. I did 705 for 3. And for whatever reason, sometimes heavy deadlifts just really piss my knees off for a minute. It'll recover fast. But I'm also using Oli shoes to overhead press, just to kind of get my balance more where I want it to be. And so it was a little irritated during that. But other than that, those are super easy. So we decided to go into an incline dumbbell press. That's kind of been our main back down for any pressing. And I went right to 130s. So this is 130 pounds for 10 reps. Definitely a PR for me. I've done it on flat bench post benching, but I'll take it on an incline post log. We're going to call that a PR. It moved pretty well. It wasn't super fast, but it was definitely like controlled 10 reps, which felt really good. I was pretty darn happy with that. So, and then Hunter, being the beast that he is, he threw some 110s up, and he even gets more speed on this than I do. For Hunter's body weight being so much significantly less than mine, and him being natural and 22 years old, and he's handsome, and there's a mirror here, so he's probably distracted by his own handsomeness. Like, this is pretty impressive. I don't even remember how many reps it was, but it's probably in that range of close to 10. Or I don't know. It might even be 5, but I don't care. It's 110s. The dude weighs almost that, and he's throwing them around pretty fast. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, actually, in retrospect, I think that was 5 reps. I took the 130s again, and I had told him right before this I'd be happy with a set of 8 to 10, and I ended up getting 8 here. So really, really good. Two heavy sets with the dumbbells, which to me is what I need. If I can't consistently press 300 pounds and that's the goal, it's not about continuing to load up 300 pounds on a bar and fail, although I'm not afraid to do that. It's just about getting more volume in at the things that are going to make you stronger. So I was pretty darn happy to do 2 heavy sets in my back downs and have them go super, super well. And, this is nice because I tell you the truth, this is like a full vertical bench. Those other ones are done on an incline bench, which is good to get some chest in there. I've jokingly said that right now, training for strongman, I'm retired from benching. The truth is I just really don't love bench press. I'm not as good at it as I want to be. It oftentimes irritates my bicep tendon, so it's been nice to take a break from, but it's definitely good for me to still get some stimulation in the chest. It's going to be a good experiment because I am going to train to do nationals in May for USPA for powerlifting. And so I will have to bench again fairly soon. So it's good to keep it up. So this is on the incline or the full vertical incline, and it's 100-pound dumbbells. I think I got this for 10 it's probably less than 10. But I was trying to pause it on my shoulders. So coming from a dead stop with each rep, and that's a big deal. You can see Hunter, he does lateral raises like a gorilla. I'm not sure why he does that. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's just because he looks like, super silly, and he just likes how he looks when he does them. I do them super strict like this. If you ask me, that's the right way. The truth is, it's just you're going to work different muscles. I'm not trying to have it go into my traps, although I do want bigger traps. I have weirdly not rounded off traps. They've grown a lot recently, but I'm trying to just get my shoulders, bigger overall, big deltoids, so I can press big weights. And so I keep my my lateral raises nice and low like that. And this has been consistent. I think we've done lateral raises post-pressing, or at least I have, this whole strongman prep. And I'm going to stay on that because I think it's going to go a long way. But this was a new one I added in there, which is we did JM presses with the bar. I've done JM presses with the safety squat bar in the past. And I really like that, but it's a very different type of movement. So it's just nice. It's probably my first time really testing out heavy JM presses with just a barbell. So, this was a nice warm-up set to feel it out. These feel really great. I started doing these because I saw Todd Zilla, the arm wrestler, talk about how it's really good for elbow health. And, I suffer from bicep tendonitis more than anything, but of course, sometimes my elbows hurt. So I started doing them with just a barbell before I bench, just to warm up, the tendons in my wrists, my elbow, and my tricep, and I found it really great. And now I program it for all my clients as a warm-up before benching. What I want them to do is just the empty barbell, just go through the range of motion and do a bunch of reps. I'm pretty sure most of them do it. Some of them probably don't. It's always hard to get everybody bought into one system of warming up because everybody feels like, they know what works for them on warm-ups, which is true. I get that, but I think there's a lot of value in doing those before, even if it's your elbows aren't hurting on bench that day, it's probably saving you long term. So I went up to 70 kgs here, and you know what? This felt pretty darn good. So I did 10 reps on this one, and I was just making sure that I'm really getting into that range of motion, just, totally, wrist lean back, almost on my chin, pausing them out, and it felt great. Hunter stayed in that 50 kg range, and, I think he did a great job. His form on it was excellent. You can see he's getting good speed, but he was feeling the stretch in the tendon, so, didn't want to push the weight too much more, which is definitely the right answer on an accessory movement. There's no need to go full blast on something like this. and then have a sudden